Another week of NFL football is behind us, and I have to say, kind of left some bad taste in my mouth with the injuries. Like seeing Nick Chubb last night, just get his knee inverted like that. That is gut wrenching for such a great person, great player. Really tough to see, and coupled with J.K. Dobbins and obviously Aaron Rodgers being out for the season as well, it just kind of getting a little tough to watch some of these games and really goes to show how dangerous the sport is. But all that negative stuff aside, we are here to recap the previous week, talk about next week, and give our best bets because, man, we've just been so good so far. So let's just keep on regurgitating all that. But
we certainly still have some negative stuff to discuss in the episode today.
Yeah, we do. We're not going to sugarcoat anything here, but I'm excited to get into it, though. Like, there were some pretty good games this week, I'd say, versus last week. I don't know. I feel like there's better football going on, not as sloppy as last week. But, I guess we should just dive right in, right?
Yeah, I mean, we both had winning records still, even though our best bets and fantasy starts and sits were not so great.
Yeah, no, not ideal. But, I mean, it is hard to predict those things. And I have to commend ourselves because, like, no one else does that, like, is accountable. You know, no one else goes back and, like, says, yeah, I got these wrong. They just move right along and give you more picks. So let's give ourselves a little credit for that. We're very honest. And, yes, we both went 9-7 in our week 2 just straight-up game picks, which is good to see. I want to get up in the double digits, though. And we were close, though. I mean, we're right there. Some just stupid losses, like some really stupid losses, in my opinion, Green Bay and Denver being among them. But yeah, I guess we could just get right into it with the Thursday night game, Minnesota at Philadelphia. I want to say Kirk Cousins played really well. I have to say he is so underrated. People shit on him way too much, but he played great. He did fumble, but 4 touchdowns. I mean, again, another 300-yard day for him. He played really good, made the game actually interesting to watch because without him, that would have been a blowout. So I want to give Kirk some props there, but I mean, his defense is just horrible. Cannot stop DeAndre Swift, who really screwed me because after he put up like a goose egg last week, I was like, no way I could start him in any of my fantasy leagues this week. Surely he's not going to go off for like 178 yards. So that was a little distasteful, but it is good to see that he's, actually, fully into that starting role as I thought he'd be going into week 1. But yeah, kind of went how we expected.
Kirk went nuts, bro.
Yeah, dude, Kirk was crazy.
Absolutely ballistic. Like he's number 1 in fantasy now. I know it's only week 2, but he is top dog.
I mean, bro just throws 1 billion yards every week, and the 4 touchdowns is crazy. I mean, there were a couple of really good throws from him too.
Yeah, one of the guys in my fantasy league has Burrow as his QB and Kirk as his backup, and he said that he's now starting Kirk every week moving forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough when you have 2 quarterbacks on that precipice. That's why I always want to have one that's like undoubtedly worse. Like I want to have like a Jimmy Garoppolo and then like a, Josh Allen, like someone who I never have to debate. I mean, sure, one time like Jimmy G might go off and Josh Allen won't, but typically not going to be the case. But yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins should be a starting quarterback on any fantasy football team. You should not have him and whether it be Josh Allen or Mahomes or Burrow, because you're just going to drive yourself crazy.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, so we both got this one right this week. Got Philly with the victory.
I do want to quickly say, if Justin Jefferson didn't extend his arm out to try and hit the goal line and he didn't fumble through the end zone, I mean, this game could have gone the other way.
That was a crazy end to that drive.
I know. I mean, everyone was so bamboozled. It's like, wait, it's Philly's ball now? But I remember that happening in the Chiefs and Browns playoff game from 2020. I can't remember. I think it was a Browns player who fumbled it through the end zone. And that was the only time that I remember seeing that rule in place. That's the only reason I knew that it was going to be a touchback.
Yeah, I was so Fran Bommel, dude. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, how did the Vikings turn the ball over here?
I know. I mean, I couldn't even tell that went through the end zone.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's when you just can't be greedy like that. Just go down at the 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that touchdown hits, though, that changes the pace of the entire game.
Yeah, because I think that would have put Minnesota up by 4 points or so.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Moving on to Baltimore at Cincinnati. This is the one game that we disputed on, and I got wrong. But Joe Burrow is just, I mean, there's a lot to say about Joe Burrow here, but the main thing is that he missed so many weeks of training camp, and that just set him back. I really think he's fine. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he didn't play like too bad, but he's not pushing the ball down the field at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like 0 for 7 on attempts over 15 yards, all of which incompletions and then 1 pick. But he did have 2 touchdowns, and yeah, I mean, I think he'll be fine. Last year, Cincinnati also started 0-2. Their next 4 games are very winnable, so they could easily go 4-2 just like last year. However, if Burrow has re-aggravated this injury, though, that will definitely change things. So, I mean, we'll get to that in a little bit here, but hopefully he's okay.
What's his injury status for this week, though? Is it in question?
He's definitely questionable right now. Yeah, Zach Taylor. I tried to look it up because I need to know for this pick for this upcoming game.
Did they pull him on Sunday?
No, I don't think they didn't pull him on Sunday. It just was something that kind of re-aggravated during the game, and now it's popped up. So it's nothing too bad, but it's just that lingering calf injury, so.
Yeah, he started off really slow, but he started just as slow as he had in week 1, but then picked it up as the game moved on. He actually put up kind of a respectable stat line with around 220 yards. And
yeah, I mean, they could have still won that game.
Right.
They could have still easily won that game. And yeah, just, everyone give the Bengals a break. They're Joe Burrow's 1-7 in weeks 1 and 2. But he's got a tremendous winning record from weeks 3 and onward.
Yeah, hopefully he'll continue to prove that since he's the highest paid player in the NFL. This $55 million contract's not really showing right now.
No, I mean, you could get someone way cheaper than that. Brock Purdy, who's making probably a couple $100,000. Right. Literally, because he's the last pick in the draft.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Seattle at Detroit. Very disappointed about this game. Really want to see Detroit play well and have success this year, which I think they still will, but 2 big mistakes in this game that caused them to lose. Jared Goff, after having the longest active streak in the NFL for quarterbacks throwing attempts without a pick, comes to an end in not just an interception, but a pick 6. That really wasn't a good throw. It was super inside. I don't know what he was really thinking. And yeah, very, very upsetting. I mean, that's the difference in the game right there. Also, they went for it on 4th down, deep into their own territory, didn't get it, and then Seattle scored a touchdown off that. So, multiple instances there where if they didn't do one of those things, they win that game. Seattle just has Detroit's number, though. I mean, Geno Smith, I must say, he played very well.
Indeed, he did. But how about Josh Reynolds tossing up 2 tuds in the game?
Yeah, no, I mean, he played well week 1, and then here he goes again, but... yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he might be borderline start next week against Atlanta or so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly seem like they're not targeting Amon-Ra as much as they should be. I know he still played well, but I expected him to be putting up Cooper Kupp type numbers, and he's not.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just defenses are playing him a little bit better. I mean, no one even knows who Josh Reynolds is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good for him, though. Jared Goff played fine. I mean, 3 touchdowns, just that 1 pick.
Yeah.
That's holding him back from greatness, really.
Agreed.
Then you got Indianapolis at Houston. This is an interesting one. Love to see, Indianapolis actually be exciting this year instead of, kind of boring as they have in the last few years. But Anthony Richardson's style of play is just so susceptible to injuries. And so, yeah, sure enough, he goes down in this game. He went down in the last game, too.
Not after he had first gotten 2 nice rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he gave them a nice lead to sit on because CJ Stroud absolutely diced up his Colts defense. I cannot believe it. I have to hand it to him. He's looked the best. Even though Anthony Richardson has had a lot of touchdowns. I mean, CJ Stroud threw for 9 yards a clip, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he might have fumbled, but no picks. Played really well against a pretty good Colts defense that Trevor Lawrence didn't play particularly great against last week. So I'd say so far, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, all those guys, CJ Stroud's looking not too bad. I mean, he's throwing to no one, too. I mean, he's throwing to Nico Collins, who, I mean, had a tremendous game. And I don't even know who else is on the team, Robert Woods. I know you want to start him this week, which is a little crazy. But
dude, he's going to put up some points this week.
He used to be really good on the Rams.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that he could have a nice week this week. Although Nico Collins does seem like he's becoming the number 1 over in Houston.
He sure is. Yeah, he sure is.
I mean, he's up in the wide receiver rankings. I think he's up 50 points.
Really?
Not points, but 50 ranks.
Oh, he jumped up
from
50
like
ranks.
75 to like 24.
I mean, he's got to be like top
like
15 receivers so far. I mean, he's played great.
Yeah.
I don't even know how old he is. I mean, I've never even heard of him until this year.
He might be a rookie or at least like year 2 or something like that.
So then you got Chicago at Tampa Bay. Yeah, we knew better. We quickly rectified our faith in the Bears after last week and are not going to pick them probably ever again. At least not me.
No,
maybe when they play the Cardinals like in week 16 or whatever. But
I would not even trust them then.
Yeah, I mean, Cardinals been playing good. But yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield again, like another guy who's just been throwing like I love seeing quarterbacks when they throw like over 8 yards a clip because it usually, I mean, it just doesn't happen too often. Everyone's just kind of been dinking and dunking. But yeah, Baker Mayfield at one point was throwing over 10 yards a clip. I think he finished around like 8 or 9. But yeah, played well again. Mike Evans just tore up the Bears. And Justin Fields with 2 fourth-quarter interceptions, one of what being a pick 6. Just did not look good. He doesn't see the field well. It was nice to see Chase Claypool get a touchdown, though, but they just look horrible. They are preventing him from running, which is what he's good at, and yet, I mean, he doesn't have the passing skills right now to offset that. So they're just a mess all around.
Yeah, I mean, in recent years, I feel like the Bears have really prided themselves on their defense. That's been their major strong suit, and yet they let Mike Evans get wide open so many times.
Mike Evans, who's like in his 30s now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He's too old to be putting up 170 yards or something like that in a game. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, honestly. The Bears used to have a really good defense, but now it's funny though, like the leading tacklers, like the players who lead the league in tacklers, like top 5, 2 of which of them are Bears. I don't know what that says. Like, does that say just like the Bears like need to be tackling people, or like there's only 2 people on the defense who are making tackles? But like,
you know what it is that the Bears spend so much time on defense because their offense sucks. So their defense is out there for more
that's actually
clock time than anyone else.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like, the time of possession is horrible.
Exactly.
Kansas City at Jacksonville was a disappointing one as well. I thought this was, a contender for like one of the best games a week, and yet it was a super low scoring. Jacksonville literally could not get into the red zone. I don't understand their game plan here. Like, as soon as they got into the red zone, they didn't try and run the ball at all. Like, even poor little Tanks Bigsby didn't even get any action. I mean, I know Travis Etienne went down, but it's literally just like Trevor Lawrence throwing kind of, I mean, he had some bad throws.
Bozo passes.
Yeah, into the red zone or into the end zone. Yeah. Where, I mean, he could have easily, I think just with a better game plan, they could have gotten into the end zone one of those times. And yet they just, once they got within the 10-yard line, they're just firing darts. And obviously none of them clicked. So disappointing because their defense played well. I mean, holding Kansas City to only 17 points is really good. I mean, they had like 3 or 4 turnovers. And yet they really fumbled the bag there. So I think this is a huge, L for them in the sense that you hold Kansas City to 17 points, but you can't even get a touchdown.
Yeah. I have I wouldn't say no confidence, but I have much less confidence in them after watching that game, and less confidence in T-Law as well. I was so hot on him before the year started, and I don't know. I'm getting a little worried a little bit.
I think they'll be fine, but yeah, I mean, it just, I mean, everyone struggles against the Chiefs though, so it is a little bit understandable.
Yeah, that's true. But the Lions didn't seem to struggle that much against the Chiefs.
Travis Kelce, man.
I guess, that's
he makes
fair.
A big difference, even though he only had a couple catches in that one touchdown. But I mean, he does make a big difference.
Did you hear the announcers were getting a little excited, talking about Taylor Swift and Kelce's little romantic relationship?
Wait, for real?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
I did hear something about that. But
one of the after Kelce caught his touchdown, the announcer was like, Kelce found a blank space and got open for the score. Yeah,
that's a good song.
Yeah, they made another allusion to it too.
Travis Kelce's just delicate with the ball.
Yeah, he's so delicate.
Next up, we got Green Bay at Atlanta. Should have known better. Desmond Ritter's undefeated at home in college and in the NFL thus far, which is kind of crazy. But this was just a stupid game. Green Bay had a nice lead. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdowns again, which was quite impressive. But in the fourth quarter, he was 0 for 6, just completely incompetent, honestly. I mean, they just fell apart there. They had a chance to win it. They had some time left. Just they needed a field goal. That would have won it and couldn't make it happen. So our almost lock of the week ended up falling through just because Atlanta played some great fourth quarter ball. Desmond Ridder played fine, but I mean, he just doesn't push the ball down the field. Just a game manager, and he was able to make it work, even though he did throw a pick as well. Just a mind-boggling game to me. I think that Jordan Love and the Packers maybe are not as good as we thought after beating the Bears, and that's a testament to how bad the Bears are rather than how good the Packers are.
Yeah, this was a frustrating loss for sure. I remember the line on this game started for Green Bay at like minus 130 or something like that. And
I mean, Vegas knew.
yeah, and then it moved all the way to where Green Bay was underdogs to like plus 105, plus 110.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know what like caused them to do that, because Atlanta just looked so bland, and Green Bay had a great defense. I thought Green Bay's defense was going to smother them.
Yeah, that was nuts. I cannot believe that was definitely my lock of the week. So I am just
slack-jawed.
Yeah, I'm absolutely gobsmacked that
one
did not hit.
You're not the gobsmackage. Yeah, no, this game sucks. Let's move on. Vegas at Buffalo. Yeah, so I was thinking Vegas would be able to keep it close. It's just like, this is the thing. Like, once you get past the first 2 weeks, I feel like we could be more accurate, because you don't know in week 1 if it's because the team that won is actually good or the team they beat is just really bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Denver is just really bad, and Vegas was able to squeak by. And Buffalo's going to be fine. We knew that. Plus, this is a super easy defense to carve up. A nice little confidence booster for them. But yeah, Vegas couldn't keep it close at all. Jimmy G didn't play that great. Scrivante had a decent game, though, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah, he had a touchdown.
The Bills just came back hungry. Josh Allen finally tossed up a good game. Yeah,
good for him. I'm glad to see him play better. I think he had like 3 touchdowns, like
no
70%.
turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, that's key right there. I mean, you're playing a horrible defense, but
after his 4 turnover game against the Jets, he needed to
you
unregress.
Stop the bleeding there a little bit. So good to see this from the Bills. Then you got the Chargers at Tennessee. I didn't have the balls to pick Tennessee, but like as the week went on, like I wanted to, especially with Eckler out. Knowing how much better coached the Titans are than the Chargers, I thought it was pretty safe to think the Titans would have a solid chance, especially at covering the 3-point spread. They obviously took it to overtime and won there. I mean, their defense played well, despite, again, like you look at the stat line for the Chargers, you don't know what went wrong. I mean, Justin Herbert had a great game, 2 touchdowns, 300 yards, didn't turn the ball over. They didn't turn the ball over at all, and yet they lost. I mean, you look at the Titans, I mean, they played pretty good, though. Like, Ryan Tannehill finally, showed through. I mean, he only had, 4 incompletions. He threw over 10 yards a clip, had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So, good to see that from him. And, yeah, just a testament to how poorly coached the Chargers are. Because if you're playing that well, and you also sack Tannehill 5 times for, negative 46 yards, and you still lose, it's just abysmal.
It really is. Neither of us had the balls to take Tennessee this past week, but
absolutely not.
The balls have since dropped. The scrotum is in full form nowadays.
Oh yeah,
and we will know better moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna take the Chargers next week. I'm gonna take the Titans next week as well. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, then you have just the craziest game of the week, what should have been the primetime game, I guess. The Giants at Arizona. I just want to first say, Josh Dobbs is such a gamer, man. He played well. He ran all over the place and he passed well. Really happy to see that from a guy who obviously is, career backup and not viewed as a good quarterback, but really good to see him play well. And yeah, the Giants just looked horrible. I mean, they were shut out for the first 6 quarters of, the entire season.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Jones awoke and he went nuts,
Came out of hibernation.
Yeah, I mean, 321 yards, 2 passing, 1 rushing touchdown. Really good to see that from him. Sucks that Saquon got injured, but it shouldn't be anything too wild. Only a couple weeks, I believe. But yeah, crazy good game. I'm glad that I got this one right. But obviously, based on how much I was boasting about it last week, it ended up not being that much of a lock.
Yeah, I got really excited at halftime.
I bet you were. I bet you were giddy as shit, man.
Dude, I was. Yeah, I was a little bricked up. But I nearly texted you, bro. I was going to say
You going to start talking shit?
I was, dude. I was going to be how are you feeling right now? Just mess around with you a little bit, and I'm so glad that I didn't.
Yeah, dude, I would have thrown that in your face so bad.
It definitely would have been brought up on the podcast. I guess it's being brought up anyways. But.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. I was on this date, as you know. I'm up at this mini golf bar place, and I see it on the TV. I'm like, 14 to nothing. What the fuck's going on up there? I was like, but nah, like I'm sure they'll turn it around. But then when I saw that it was like 28 nothing or something, I was like, yeah. What was it? Was it 28 nothing or 21 nothing or one of those?
It was 20. I think it was 20-0. No.
Something like that. I mean, at that point, I was like, okay, yeah, probably the Giants are just like dog shit. But yeah, no,
it could have been 28. But yeah, that was just a wild game.
Incredible comeback.
It reminded me of the Minnesota like Colts game last year on like it was like a week before Christmas, I think, and like Minnesota came back from like that 31-point deficit or something like
against
that
the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was another crazy game. Yeah. Oh my God, I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me watching this game.
Yeah, very similar in the sense that, huge comebacks, but interesting. We'll see how the Giants play on, but if they're that, like, explosive on offense, like, if they're capable of that, then they might end up being, like, okay this year. Then you got the Jets at Dallas, and I knew this would be tough for the Jets. You know, I mean, Dallas's defense is a wood chipper. Just, you're going into the jaws of the shark. And Zach Wilson got absolutely harassed, throwing 3 picks, less than 50% completion percentage. And, I mean, that's very expected. Like, I think the Jets are just, they won week 1, but losing Aaron Rodgers is a pretty big deal, and I think it's made them rather distraught. I think there's a chance they go out and try and get another quarterback, whether it be Jameis Winston or just someone better, because I think Zach Wilson's a bust.
He's just not a leader. He can't command a team.
No, he looks like a small guy out there. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just that's irrelevant, but he just looks like tiny out there.
He really does. I feel like the QB should just like command respect and just be able to lead an offense and carry them on his shoulders, and he just is not capable of doing something like that.
No, absolutely not. And so I think his time is over. I mean, he's had plenty of opportunities, and he's never been able to take advantage. And he's got plenty of weapons. I mean, Garrett Wilson out there. He's got, not the best offensive line, obviously, but really good defense.
Right.
So,
and
disappointing.
He just can't deliver.
Yep. Then you got San Fran at the Rams. I like this game. Like, I think that, again, it's just goes to show San Francisco is dominant because the Rams played pretty good. I mean, the Rams are not a slouch team. Stafford threw 2 picks. Unfortunately, I did not see them, so I don't know how much of his fault they were, but he threw for over 300 yards. I mean, Puka Nacua still played well. Tutu Atwell played well. Kyron Williams played well. But you're playing like the best team in the league. So what do you expect? They still kept it rather close.
Yeah, they covered the spread.
Yeah, which I did. I think I talked about that.
You did.
Last week.
Think that was one of your picks. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was.
I mean, I bet on it in one of my parlays. I don't know if I officially posted it to the parlay.
You did not officially post it. I feel like you talked about it last week, though.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a lot of points for a team that blew out Seattle in Seattle. So.
Right. Yeah, they're looking really solid this year. Surprisingly solid.
Yeah,
without Kupp.
They're going to get cut back. I mean, just imagine that, and they're gonna be solid. I think they'll win probably like 8 or 9 games.
Definitely.
Then Washington at Denver. Screw this game, man. Like
Screw
Denver.
Russell, bro.
Yeah. Well, problem with Russell is like once it goes off script, once he's in the second half and he has to make a play on his own, he's incapable. I mean, I think the last 2 games in the first half, he's like fantastic. He's got all those touchdowns and super high completion percentage, but in the second half, off script, he just can't do anything. And yeah, they took their foot off the gas, and Washington crept on back. Sam Howell looked awesome somehow, some way. I mean, this guy, not a super high draft pick, but he looks legit.
Yeah, he does. And Russell Wilson was someone who I grew up like respecting. I have like a fathead poster of Russell in my room from like when he was on Seattle. I've had it up there for like, I don't know, at least like 8 years, maybe like a little bit more, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like he was just like my idol growing up, and he has just absolutely regressed. He just looks so bad out there. He like was a Hall of Fame caliber QB.
He's playing himself out of it.
He is. I cannot see a situation where he still gets into the Hall of Fame.
He's got to turn it around here. But I mean, when you lose like almost the two most winnable games on your schedule at home to start the season, it's like, super deflating.
He almost pulled off an incredible comeback there. They had that
Yeah,
Hail Mary.
that was very lucky.
Yeah, they had.
But I will say, I mean, that was PI. Like they should have called that
100%
2-point conversion ski.
I think the refs just wanted the game to be over, dude.
Yeah, they're like, fuck, overtime, man, dude.
They were tired, dude. They just wanted to go back and crawl into bed, get some cuddle time, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, or they had the Washington money line.
No, that too, yeah.
Miami at New England, great primetime game, just so riveting. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I mean, this game was just boring. I mean, Tua played fine. Mac Jones did not play super well. Bill Belichick is playing old school ball in a modern world. I mean, it's just not sustainable. Miami is dominant over New England. Last 5 times they've won. And Miami's looking like one of the best teams in the league right now. So I'm glad I didn't actually switch to New England and pick them.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think the one thing I would pride New England on was they absolutely took Tyreek out of the game. He only went for 40 yards. He did have a touchdown, but holding Tyreek to 40 yards after dropping 211 against the Chargers, I think is something to be said.
I agree. That just goes to show that that Miami's a great team because they're like, all right, no worries. We'll just pound Raheem Mostert down your throats, who went off back to 2020 Raheem. So craziness. But next up, New Orleans at Carolina, another just super riveting primetime game. Jesus Christ. I don't know. The primetime committee this year is pretty much 0 for 5. I mean, I think the Jets and the Bills was okay. But, yeah, Derek Carr did not play well. Bryce Young looked like a first-year quarterback playing a second game. Garbage time touchdown there at the end. New Orleans defense looks really locked down. I'd say that. I think they look good. But not much else to take away from this game. Chris Olave made a great catch.
Yeah, I like the Chris Olave catch. It cashed a parlay for me, which was very nice.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders hardly did anything.
Yeah, I know. He's wishing he's back on the Eagles right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. People in rankings have him as 14 or so for the rest of the season.
He was good last year.
He was certainly good last year, but he's on a just terribly unproductive team.
Yeah, I mean, they need to completely revamp how they play fucking football, I think, because they need to get him involved in the screen pass. They need to take shorter, quicker throws, not dropping Bryce Young back as much, get him moving around. They need to just do everything differently.
They really do, yeah. And he cannot, I don't really think he can thrive on this sort of offense, and he's certainly not going to finish the year as a RB1.
No, yeah, I think that he's borderline start sit each week. You got to think about it. Cleveland at Pittsburgh, another just mess of a game. It was a close one that went back and forth, but Cleveland's offensive line is horseshit. Deshaun Watson is not the same person as he was before. No matter how bad the offensive line is, no matter how long he took off from football, no matter how guilty his conscience is, nothing can excuse his poor play. I mean, he is just running aimlessly for his life, holding on to the ball too long, and he coughed it up on that 4th down conversion there. I thought they were challenging the spotting of the ball, because he did fumble it and then it went backwards, but somehow Pittsburgh came away with it. It's just what?
Yeah, but what is he doing?
Dude, I know the second one, where it was the scoop and score, the sack, strip, fumble, and the scoop and score, not a whole lot you could do there, but he's just holding on to the ball too long, and they just look bad. I mean, they had a couple of big plays that kept them in the game, but Pittsburgh didn't play great at all. I mean, their offense looks horrible as well. But, I mean, their defense just completely smothered Deshaun and the Browns.
Yeah, they really did. I had a lot more faith in Deshaun after week 1, and he nearly shut out Cincinnati. But
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
He didn't play great in that game either.
Yeah. But, and after watching him this week, though, I'd really changed my view on that. He certainly does not seem like a star QB for this team.
I mean, how long are we going to wait until, we're he's just mediocre at this point. He's no longer a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, he's not the same guy he was on Houston.
No, I don't know if he's thinking about some with some ladies, some massages or something, or is he I don't know, is he guilty?
Endings. He might be thinking about the happy endings, but those happy endings are not manifesting in the game script.
I know, dude. Sloppy top makes for sloppy ball. I don't know. But that concludes all of the picks for the week. And let's go on to our week 2 start and sits and how those panned out if you want to go through your list there.
Yeah, so I had a bad pick with Kendrick Bourne as one of my starts. I got a little too excited after watching his
I
week
mean,
one
dude, I
performance.
don't understand. Like Kendrick Bourne, Juju Smith-Schuster are not doing anything, and yet, I mean, they need to. I mean, they need to. Like, what are they doing over there? I don't get
I
it.
don't know.
Because
Yeah,
I agreed with you on this one.
they're just scratching their balls over
Yeah,
there. I don't
dude,
know what
just
they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing, man.
Yeah, so that was a bad pick on my end, and I also said to sit DJ Moore, and of course he decides to go off first
I
play.
told you about this one.
Yeah, I know you were right. Was it the first play of their opening drive? I think for the Bears that he had like a 30-yard catch or
Something
something.
like that. It was on the first drive
Yeah.
that he did well. I mean, he played good. I knew eventually they were going to just have to force feed him the ball.
Right, but he didn't get a whole lot of action though after like the first half. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, like 6 receptions, like 90 some yards or something like that?
Yeah, and at least like 60 something of those yards were in that first quarter,
right.
first drive. So that was a bad pick on my end. But I do like my Zach Ertz start pick. So I would consider that one a success.
Absolutely, dude.
In a half PPR league, he was the tight end 10. So it's not great, but like it's still a tight end 1, I guess.
Oh, yeah, dude. I like this. I played him in one of my leagues, and he put up numbers for me. So I appreciate that. I think that was a good pick.
Yeah.
And moving on to mine now, Dallas Goedert, I mean, he played okay, though. Like, he had a bunch of receptions, though. So we'll give him that. He did have a bunch of receptions, just not a ton of yards.
Was it 6 receptions for 22 yards?
Something like that. Something just, like, super weird. So, I mean, I think in my league, he did put up, like, 8.4.
That's solid.
I mean, I'll take it for a tight end. It seems like tight ends this year just aren't doing anything.
Absolutely not.
Like I kind of mentioned earlier, though, Green Bay defense, not ideal. They got kind of torn up by the Falcons, which just kind of threw up in my mouth there. If you get torn up by the Falcons and they just shut down the Bears, I don't know. Bears are so bad. Sitting Alexander Madison, though, was a good pick. He just didn't do anything. He fumbled as well. Poor guy. I think some people were like slandering him, though, so let's not go that far, but it was probably a good idea to sit him. Not a great idea to sit Drake London, though. He did indeed have a touchdown, just not a ton of yards. I mean, again, Desmond Ridder does not force the ball down the field. I mean, not even forcing. He doesn't throw the ball down the field, period, really. So just kind of a misfire on my part, kind of hand in hand with the Green Bay defense. Like, I thought they'd play better. I thought they would kind of tamper the Falcons' offense more. And then Garrett Wilson, he did have a touchdown, but 2 receptions. And one of them, I mean, wasn't the touchdown like 69 yards or something? So if he doesn't make that happen, it's a horrible game for him because he only had 2 receptions. So I'll give myself like a little bit of a pat on the back for this, kind of like seeing it. But I mean,
that's fair.
The playmaker made a play. I mean, he's a great receiver. And if he's on any other team, I think he would be like a must start. But playing the Dallas defense and Zach Wilson, just they don't have that Wilson chemistry.
No, they certainly do not.
Yeah. Did he outscore DJ Moore? Because I remember I said I bet DJ Moore outscores Garrett. Probably not with the touchdown. Yeah, definitely not, actually.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson outscored DJ Moore.
Yeah, because he had like almost the same amount of yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Moving on to our best bets.
I don't even want to discuss these, bro. There's so much red on our document here.
I know,
I don't
just
like it.
bam, bam, bam.
Let's just go through it super quick here. We'll just highlight that we missed all of our bets except for my Tampa Bay money line hit. Tampa Bay money line at minus 154. Hardly.
Yeah, I mean, that's so safe. They're playing the Bears.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, Green Bay just screwed us. I mean, Green Bay was integral in some of these picks, and they just didn't pull through.
No, they did not.
I got all mine wrong as well. Tennessee +3, I was able to muster on up. So that was kind of nice. But, yeah, I got squirrely with some of these. I mean, again, Denver almost came through because, they should have won. They should have just kept their foot on the gas. Vegas couldn't keep it close. New England couldn't keep it close. I do like this parlay, though, that I had. Like, I actually switched. I know I said Notre Dame spread. On the day, I actually switched it to Central Michigan because I thought Notre Dame would look ahead to the Ohio State game. So Central Michigan covered the spread. I obviously didn't say that, though. Womp, womp, womp. South Carolina easily covered their 27.5 point spread. North Carolina also covered their 7.5 point spread. So some wins in there, but when they're in that parlay with freaking Green Bay, just tanked it. So there you have it. We'll do better this week, we promise.
Yeah, we absolutely will. 100%.
Oh, yeah. All right. Week 3 picks now. Get that week 2 Garbo out of our system. Look ahead here to another, hopefully, good week of football. It could use a little more excitement. Still not a huge fan of these primetime games, starting with the Giants at San Fran for Thursday Night Football. I think it's pretty easy. Gonna pick San Fran. Giants look better for sure, but still think, especially when you're playing in San Francisco, they will take care of business and probably cause Daniel Jones to struggle some.
Yeah, I can't argue much with that. This should be an easy win for San Fran here. And for once, I am not recommending you take the up 7 promo on DraftKings for the underdog because there's no way I just do not see the Giants going up 7 here.
I mean, it's certainly possible, but I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you take that.
Atlanta at Detroit. We're going to put our stock in Detroit despite the loss. I think Atlanta on the road, they always tend to struggle a little bit more. Detroit's going to clean it up after last week's blunder and hopefully get right back on track and start leading that division because right now they are tied with Green Bay.
Yeah, I like the Detroit pick. Despite Atlanta's surprising 2-0 start, I think Detroit...
Not sustainable at all.
Yeah, it definitely is not. Detroit's offense is too explosive to let up a loss to Atlanta here. Especially they're going to be a little angry after their Week 2 loss to Seattle.
Mm-hmm. All right, gonna take LA here. This is a make or break game for them. They cannot afford to go 0-3 with that level of talent on the roster. And yeah, Brandon Staley's playing for his jobs here. If he loses this game, it's likely he gets fired mid-season eventually. So definitely going to take the Chargers here despite, Minnesota, they played fine. They played okay ball, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
I liked what I saw out of Kirk last week. I think that he could get the job done. And, I'm surprised you're picking the Chargers here. You've kind of hated a lot on Staley in this podcast so far.
It's kind of redundant, but I do think, he's got to win this game. Minnesota's defense is horrible. The Chargers should be able to run and throw on them.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota will probably turn the ball over as they've been doing, but I don't mind that pick. I think that's a totally reasonable pick to have.
We might have to come back to this if the Chargers go 0-3 because I believe you've picked the Chargers every week.
I have, yep. I sure have.
That would be kind of wild for you to go 0-3 on these Chargers picks with as much as you've been dogging on Staley, bro.
It's like, but they have so much talent, though. That's the thing.
True.
They just have so much talent across the board. Mm-hmm. Quarterback, receivers, defense. You got Bosa. So we'll see, though. Then you got New Orleans at Green Bay. I liked what I saw about New Orleans' defense this past game, although their offense looked very stifled. And that very well could happen again because Green Bay's defense is fine. It's serviceable. They could also stifle New Orleans, but I think New Orleans is going to turn things around a little bit in terms of that, play good defense again, and fluster Jordan Love a little bit, just like he was flustered in the fourth quarter of that Atlanta game and ultimately went 0-for-6. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring, kind of ugly game, just how New Orleans has been playing lately. And that's why I'm going to take the Saints.
That's fair. I do think it'll be low scoring, but we do have a bit of a discrepancy here because I'm still taking Green Bay. I still like what I'm seeing out of Jordan Love. I still think he's got a lot of talent.
He's fine, yeah. I like the 3 touchdowns each game. That's impressive. Sorry about that, guys.
I still think that Jordan is really solid, and New Orleans' offense just did not look all that great in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Last night. They hardly beat Carolina, who is arguably...
Oh, they had plenty of room. That was a garbage time score at the end there.
Okay. For most of the game, it was like 6-3. They didn't do a whole lot. They had one good downfield pass to Olave. His electrifying catch. But they didn't have a whole lot else besides that. And
yeah, Derek Carr needs to clean it up. I don't know what he's seeing out there right now.
He only sees the right side of the field, bro. Every single pass was to the right side.
That's a good observation. Defenses might catch on to that.
Yeah.
Then we got Houston at Jacksonville. I think it's pretty easy to say Jacksonville will bounce back at home and defeat the much inferior team of Houston. Despite, like I said, CJ Stroud playing well. Just don't think against a good Jacksonville defense. They're trying to bounce back, fix their offensive woes. So I like this pick. I'm pretty confident in it.
That is certainly the smart pick to take.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree that that Jacksonville will likely win this game, but I'm taking like a bit of an upset pick here, just kind of a more of a long shot underdog pick with going with Houston. Like there's like upsets like every single week.
No, I know. I mean, many of these games are likely to go the other way.
I could see Houston like just pulling off a victory here.
I don't think it's crazy, but slightly crazy.
Okay.
I just think that rookie quarterback on the road against a good defense. Jacksonville's been playing really good over the last, like, this season and like half of last season. I mean, they've won, I think, there's some crazy stat out there. They've won like 10 of their last like 13 games or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fair, but nah, I feel pretty good in Jacksonville here.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, we'll reassess next week.
Denver at Miami. I think Miami's off to a great start. They're playing at home now here, even though going on the road the last 2 games. So that's a lot of mileage. They finally get to play at home against Denver. Now, honestly, though, I could see Denver win this game. Like, I'm not going to pick them because they've screwed me the last 2 weeks, but this is kind of like the Chargers. They need to win this game. They cannot afford to go 0-3, but their opponent's much more difficult than Minnesota, so that's why I'm still going to take Miami here. I think they should be able to carve up Denver's defense just like Sam Howell did, and I think this will be an entertaining game, though. But ultimately, Miami comes through.
Yeah, it should be. I would like to see Tyreek go off again. I don't think that Denver's defense is going to be able to stop a team like Miami. Like, they couldn't even stop Washington's offense. Like, how are they going to stop Miami's
Sam
offense?
Howell.
Yeah.
So, all right, Miami it is. Then you got Tennessee at Cleveland. I think this is going to be another one of those low-scoring dogfight games, but boldly I'm going to take Tennessee here. So I'm taking Tennessee now.
We're
2
both
of the 3
taking
weeks.
Tennessee.
Yeah. I just think Cleveland looked so bad last night or the other night that I can't possibly in my right mind pick them. They're Chubbless now. And Ryan Tannehill started playing better. I like Derrick Henry, obviously, against this Cleveland defense. But, yeah, this is going to be a tough game. Like, this is definitely one of the tougher ones to pick for the week.
Yeah, for sure. I could see Tennessee pulling off a sneaky little victory here, though. I liked what I saw last week against the Chargers.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they'll be able to get a win here.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I mean, kind of puts them in a good spot to contend for the playoffs. 2-1. They could have easily even won that first game against New Orleans.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you got Buffalo at Washington. This should be another pretty good game because it's at home for Washington. If they were going on the road again, would probably think it would be a little bit more of a disparity, but Buffalo wins here. I will still take them despite, like I said, being probably a decent game. Sam Howell looks good, but Buffalo should be able to get an early lead and just kind of lean on them the rest of the game.
Yep, I can't argue much with that. I like what I saw out of Josh Allen last week.
Yeah, he's looking better.
No more turnovers for Josh this week either.
I could see him turn the ball over against Washington, though.
He probably will, but I want him to just take Washington to Pound Town and point himself the mayor.
Panda Quake him?
Panda Quake, yeah. Nothing like a good old Panda Quake.
Oh, I know, dude. Depends on what side of the quaking you're on, though.
That is true, yeah. Well, Josh Allen will be doing the quaking.
Okay. All right. I hope so. Indianapolis at Baltimore. Kind of an interesting game. I think this one should be entertaining. If Anthony Richardson plays, you got 2 very mobile running quarterbacks. Should be fun to watch them duel. But I'm going to take Baltimore no matter if Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew plays. I honestly think Gardner Minshew might even be better than Anthony Richardson at this moment in his development. So I know you're going to have a slightly different take here, but I'm going to take Baltimore for sure, despite Indianapolis playing pretty good over the last couple weeks. But traveling to Baltimore probably going to be a little tough for them.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think that if Anthony Richardson plays, their offense has been so hot. I mean, he led the team to like 21 points in like maybe 15 minutes of game time, maybe like 18 minutes of game time last week. And I mean, he really did well even against Jacksonville too.
No, he sure did. Yeah, but he's just so raw. He's going to make mistakes. And
yeah, that's true.
He's going to put up points, and he's also going to give the other team points.
Yeah, but I like Anthony Richardson, what I've seen out of him so far. And if he's playing this week, then I'm going to take the Colts. But otherwise, I will pick Baltimore because I think that the Colts offense is kind of contingent on Richardson at the helm.
They certainly have to play a different style of ball if it's Gardner Minshew.
Definitely.
Then you got New England at the Jets. Again, the Jets Zach Wilson, ain't nothing. They got lucky against Buffalo. New England should be able to win here. They've always been very dominant against the Jets. New England's also in dire need of their first win of the season.
Yeah, I think Belichick should be able to coach his team to a good win here. He's just got so much more experience, and I think that New England's taking down the Jets this week.
Yeah, I totally agree. Then Carolina at Seattle. Think that there's a chance that Carolina upsets the Seahawks here, but definitely going to still take Seattle. Their offense looked really good against the Lions. Probably not going to be as high scoring, though. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a dogfight, but yeah, honestly, this is one of the games, though, that I don't really intend on tuning into.
Yeah, I would not really want to watch this one either. I'm surprised at your thoughts that you think that Carolina could potentially pull off a win
like
here.
There's like, they're due for a win. Like, I think that Carolina is due for like a pop here. There's going to be a game like where they just are like, whoa, they're capable of that.
That's how I feel about Houston this week.
No, I mean, you're totally, that's valid. That's valid.
Okay. Like if Carolina was facing Detroit this week, who would you pick?
Oh, I'd easily take Detroit.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. So, and then Seattle beat Detroit. So like.
There are different factors though.
Okay. Yeah,
there are
that's
different
true.
Factors.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're both picking Seattle though. I think it'll be.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll not be as close as you think it will be.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just would like to see Bryce Young do something significant.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Chicago at Kansas City.
This is the easiest pick on the board this week.
What is this? Yeah. Absolutely gonna take Kansas City. Don't need to say anything else. It's actually, it's even in Kansas City. Chicago has looked horrible. Kansas City hasn't looked great, but they're not great is still significantly better than Chicago.
100%. Yeah. Nothing else to add. Kansas City with the easy victory this week.
Yeah, this might even be more of a lock than this next game here. Dallas at Arizona. Definitely got to take Dallas here. Arizona's played good. Like, they've been competitive now in two games, but I think, their opponents the last two games have not been as ferocious as Dallas's defense. Dallas should be able to take care of business, and just like they harass Zach Wilson, they should probably, they'll add Josh Dobbs to their harassment list as well. I think Josh Dobbs is going to get frazzled.
Yeah, do you see Dallas's defense tossing up like another 30-point game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think multiple turnovers from Arizona, less than 14 points.
Yeah, they're just absolutely lethal. Dallas's defense.
Historically good, man.
Yeah.
Really impressive. Pittsburgh at Vegas. I think this is the Sunday night football game. Kill me now. What the hell are they doing picking these primetime games? They're like literally trying to find some of the worst games available. And then you got Pittsburgh again that we just watched barely win against the Browns. Just a horrible, disgusting, sloppy game. And now we have to watch them again against another really bad team in Vegas. I don't know, man. Like, I know I've been dogging on the NFL's primetime selections, but seriously, though, these games are just bland to me. I'm definitely taking Pittsburgh here. I think Vegas just looked rough all around, offensively, defensively. Pittsburgh defense should be able to, similarly to Cleveland, smother the Raiders.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I'm also taking Pittsburgh. I liked the connection that I saw between Pickens and Pickett last week, and we're taking Pittsburgh as a result of that. I think they're going to dominate this Vegas secondary.
Yeah, hopefully Kenny Pickett can actually play well here. He's got a good opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got another Monday Night Football doubleheader. I think this is the last one of the year. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Definitely going to take Philadelphia. It's been a nice, cute little 2-0 start for Tampa Bay, but that will come to a nice little conclusion here when Philadelphia comes into town, and they should be able to roll Tampa. I mean, Tampa's looked pretty good, but they played bad teams, and this is going to be a rude awakening for them, I think.
Again, I think that is the smart pick to take. I'm just feeling like a couple sneaky upsets this week.
Yeah, you were taking some swings this week for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I've been picking enough upsets in...
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think I've been taking enough of those upsets in prior weeks. And I think that's resulted in me with these little 9-7 non-double-digit victory weeks. I need to get this 12 victory week. That's what I want.
I mean, one of these is bound to pull through for you. I'd say Indianapolis, Houston, or this one. But.
Yeah, here's hoping. So I like Tampa Bay this week. Still don't trust Baker Mayfield.
I know you don't even like Baker, and you're picking him.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's just a little sneaky pick, but I could see this one coming through since Tampa's at home.
Baker's going to remind you why you don't like him and throw his first interception of the year here.
He probably will. He probably will, and I'm going to come back next week, and I'm going to just be like, Rhett, you were right. I'm sorry.
You're going to give up your lead to me in our picks here.
I
you
might,
currently have, you got a couple game lead on me? 3-game lead, so there's a chance I could overtake you here if I'm correct.
How many different? We have like 5 or 6 different, a couple contingencies with the Colts and the next game we've got to discuss here.
Yeah, Rams at Cincinnati, a rematch of the Super Bowl, not this past year, but the previous year. If Joe Burrow plays, that would be awesome. Like, this is a good primetime game, finally. Like, I think it's a good rematch, even though it has, been a year and a half removed. But if Joe Burrow does not play, the Rams are surely going to win this game. I mean, I think you could say that about so many of these teams. If Lamar Jackson doesn't play, Indianapolis wins. If Mac Jones doesn't play for the Patriots, I'm just, making random examples here, but the quarterback is such an important position that if you have to go to your backup, which is, a fraction as good as your starter, you're bound to lose that game no matter who you're playing. Like, if Dallas had to play their backup, I think Cardinals could win that game, So,
right.
Yeah, contingency here, a little conditional probability action, But it should be a good game. I really hope Burrow plays, though. It's looking, though, right now. I think they will push him to play because they need to win a game here. They need to not go 0-3, and the next, 4 games are very winnable for them. Like, they got Cardinals in there, so they could go, 4-2 here and be, right back, in a good spot. So we'll see how it shakes out, though.
I implemented some Bayes theorem for this one and calculated that the Rams will pull off this victory over Cincy regardless of whether or not Burrow plays.
That's crazy, but I can't argue with Bayes, man.
Yeah, dude. Bayes is quite the theorem.
Yeah, so, but why though? At Cincinnati, even if Joe Burrow plays, you really think that?
Bro, Cincinnati's offense hasn't been doing jack squat, and
they remember the Super Bowl. They're like, oh yeah, these Rams, dude, these sheep, man. They beat us in the Super Bowl. That was their best opportunity to get a ring.
But they've got the horns, bro. They're not sheep. They got the horns.
But the Bengals tear up sheep, man.
I don't know about that.
Come on, dude. Bengal versus even a Ram?
What if the Bengal tried to bite on the Ram's horns? Is he going to be able to chomp through that girth?
What if the Ram, impaled, his snout with his horn? I mean, I agree.
This is an absolute hypothetical. I don't know.
This is crazy, dude.
The Ram is just going to obliterate the Tiger.
This is what's going to happen, dude. Kyron Williams is going to be taking a nice little, prance downfield, and then the Bengals just going to come and strip him. Fumble. He's going to fumble the ball, and the Bengals are going to return it for a great gain, and then they're going to score a touchdown off of Kyron Williams' fumble.
You're betting against our little old leprechaun?
Yeah, no, dude, I like Kyron a lot, but he's due for a little fumble ski. He sure is. He's a young little back.
I don't know.
He's
about
due
that.
for one. And the Rams running backs, they love to fumble the ball. Just remember that Rams Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff game a couple years ago when Tampa came back from a huge deficit because Cam Akers just coughed up the ball a billion times.
Yeah, he was absolutely choking on that thing, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was Gluck 9000 there.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I hope it's a good game. But if Burrow doesn't play, then I will just go to bed.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so let's make it clear. I'm picking the Rams if Joe Burrow doesn't play.
Yeah.
Then you got our start and sits for this week, just 3 apiece. I'll just start us off. I'm going to hammer Cortland Sutton again, just like I did week 1. I think that they're going to be playing from behind. Jerry Jeudy's looked a little bit flat, and Russell Wilson's got better chemistry with Sutton, so I think he should be able to have a decent game here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I like that pick. I think that he's bound to get some action this week.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, he has to against such a high-powered offense against Miami. I mean, Denver's going to be throwing the ball.
Big time. And I like Joshua Kelly this week against the Vikings just because they can't stop the run, as we saw with DeAndre Swift. I mean, they couldn't stop it to save their lives. Mm-hmm. Eckler will still be out. So Joshua Kelly should be able to have a better game than he did against Tennessee.
Are we certain Eckler's going to be out? I think he's only questionable.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make a prediction within the prediction that he will not play.
That would be quite the that sounds like Bayes' rule again.
Dude, yeah, prediction within the prediction. But I think that they look at the Minnesota defense and they're like, "Oh, Joshua, you could take this."
Yeah.
Austin's like, I'll take another week of rest. You should be able to handle this poor defense.
Fair enough.
And then lastly, I'm sitting Christian Watson. This is the first game that he's back, though, from injury. And I would sit any Green Bay receiver. I think they are going to struggle against New Orleans defense. I think that Jordan Love's going to have a rough game. I think he's going to throw his first pick of the year to the Saints. And that is why, you could definitely feel tempted to start Christian Watson. He had some big games last year, and he's coming back from the injury. But just relax on him. Save him for later.
Okay, will do. I will absolutely heed that advice this week.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, moving into my starts and sits for the week, I think that I'm high on Houston this week to have a little upset against Jacksonville, and I think they're going to have to pass the ball a lot. So I would anyone starting Nico Collins if you have him this week, but we're going the sneaky pick
secondary
and
to Robert Woods
starting
as well.
Robert Woods this week instead.
So you would want to start 2 Houston Texan receivers in the same week.
Yeah, which is wild. Wow. Dude, they're going to have a sneaky upset against Jacksonville, and
oh my God,
you're going to like it.
Robert Woods hasn't had a good game in 3 years.
Dude, today is the day.
Today is the day.
Sunday is the day. It's happening.
All right.
Yeah, next starting Rashid Shaheed. I like the chemistry that he's got going with Derek Carr.
I like that.
There's not a whole lot going on with the Saints offense, but I do think that he has developed a connection with Shaheed, and I could see him going off this week.
Yeah, I don't mind this. Is he technically wide receiver 2 or 3?
3, because Michael Thomas and Olave. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think Green Bay's defense is still serviceable. Actually, this should be I think this is a decent pick.
I'm trying to give the listeners some picks where they can go to the waiver wire and probably pick these guys up, Yeah,
no, that's a good call. Yeah. None of my guys, maybe Joshua Kelly, are still on the waivers.
Yeah, certainly. And then lastly, I'm sitting Marquise Brown. He's not exactly the same guy that he was in college, and he's not really prospering on this Arizona team yet.
No, not quite. Not really.
Yeah, so for that reason, I'm going to sit him this week. If they're facing Dallas's defense, so I just don't expect him to be able to do much. Dallas is too overpowered.
Yeah, I agree here for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and then moving on to our best bets for the week. Just going to run through these. I'm really excited about these, actually. I really am. I love Indianapolis, 8.5. Some of the lines are 8. I think it'll ultimately narrow still as well, because that's a lot of points to be given to the Colts. I think they will cover that despite not winning. I think Tennessee will cover their 3-point spread because I think they're going to win and beat the Browns. I think the Chargers are going to win straight up, so I would take them minus 105. Same with New Orleans, just on the flip side of that, plus 105 at Green Bay. I'd feel a little bit better if it was in New Orleans, though, but I'm still going to take the Saints. And then I really sunk a lot of thought into this parlay. I like the Chargers a lot. I feel really good about them. I feel really good about the Colts plus 8.5. And then flipping it over to college here, this is what really can get your odds up into the stratosphere. Take Purdue plus 180 money line just to win straight up against Wisconsin at home. Purdue's played very well despite having a worse record than Wisconsin, whereas Wisconsin's played, I'd say, pretty poorly. Despite they've won, 2 games, they pulled it out against Georgia Southern, but I really like Purdue here. And then our alma mater, Notre Dame plus 3. I don't have the balls. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to take them to win here. But I'll just take their spread plus 3 to lose by less than 3. I do think they're going to win that game, though, just for the record. And that is a total of plus 1,886 odds. So
that's a monstrous plus money right there, dude.
It's girthy, but it's only 4 games. And I think they're very solid. I'm sure one of them won't hit because that's just how it goes. But I like it a lot. And then, just kind of separately, just, straight up, because, you don't want to anchor yourself down. One of those could not pull through, and then you're screwed. So toss some individual bets in there as well. Do Purdue, like I said, plus 180, hosting Wisconsin. Florida State, minus 2.5 at Clemson. I think Clemson is so overrated. They're literally, this line is because Clemson is Clemson, not because they have a completely different team from when they had Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson on their team years ago. So Florida State, despite struggling against Boston College, minus 2.5, cover that spread. Georgia Southern, this is a little squirrely one. This is really in the weeds here. Georgia Southern against Ball State.
That sounds like a raccoon game, bro.
It surely is. I mean, college football has a lot of those.
Yeah.
But Georgia Southern has played very well. Ball State, on the other hand, has not. I mean, it's tough to kind of quantify because they're playing all these like very small teams, and it's hard to compare them and their matchups. But I like Georgia Southern -6.5 here to cover that spread. And I also really do like University of Alabama Birmingham to cover their +42 spread. That is way too many points for a pretty good program against Georgia, who just struggled against South Carolina. Yeah, 42 is just way too many in almost all games.
I like that pick a lot. I mean, Georgia barely even pulled out that last game. I mean,
they struggled. I knew they were going to struggle against South Carolina. So I think, I'm not saying they're going to lose, or I'm not saying they're going to, win by 5 points.
They're not winning by 42, though.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
so that's where it concludes. Hopefully we can see some more green on my list next week, though.
Yeah, we're gonna be green goblins on
oh
this
my God, dude.
on this Google Doc next week.
Absolute fucking pear trees, man.
Yeah, I like that. All right, and then for my best bets of the week, although you might not agree with it, I'm taking the Rams +108.
I mean, I like that. That's some good foresight because you'll get it at the better line because when they announce Joe Burrow is out.
Oh, is out, yeah.
Then the Rams will probably be favored.
Yes,
Rams will be favored undoubtedly.
Yeah,
so.
You are right. Yeah, so I'm liking taking the Rams at plus money here. And then Pittsburgh, hardly minus money at -116. And I like the way they performed last night. So we are going to be taking Pittsburgh as well. And then I've got the first under, I believe, of any of our bets here for the Chargers and Minnesota game. Mm-hmm. They had the line set at 54.5, which is the highest I've seen in a while. I do think this game would be high scoring, but I think that 54.5 is just too high.
Yeah.
I don't like betting on both teams like a 28-27 score here or something like that. So I'm betting the under for this game. And then if you parlay the first two picks, the Rams and Pittsburgh, it's +287, and then parlaying all three is +624. So that's all I got for the week.
Nice, yeah, a little more conservative this week. I kind of went like all over the place. So
yeah, I do like your Giga parlay though, the +1800 odds, dude. You're gonna be rolling around in the cash once that hits.
So yeah, dude, I'm sure that. Let's see which one of these is least likely to hit. Yeah, I bet Indianapolis will probably... No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I really feel good about that. But yeah, I'm sure one of them won't hit.
I think the Purdue one's the most unlikely.
To just, win straight up.
Well, at least with the odds.
Yeah, maybe switch it around and then take Purdue underdogs 5.5 points to cover that spread. But I like your picks. I like Pittsburgh quite a bit. The under is pretty good too, I would say. So overall, I think you are in good shape.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
Thank you. So yeah, guys, that is all we have for you in episode 3 here of the Sideline Sorcerers. I do want to make a little announcement. I'm just going to simplify the video format. It's just going to be our logo over the entirety of the clip, just to make it a little bit easier editing-wise for me. And then we're going to try and put out some additional videos over the next couple weeks on player props.
Yeah, we're dipping into the players, sinking our toes into these receiving, rushing yard sort of prop kind of things.
Getting down in the weeds with it.
Yes, definitely. But we're going to try and make videos for, maybe even like 3 a week, like Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night, like games, like best props for like each day of games.
Yeah, I like that. So hopefully we can get that running here soon. And yeah, thanks as always for your support. Enjoy this week of football. Hopefully there are no more season-ending injuries out there.
Oh, God, yeah. There's been too many already.
Yeah, too many for sure.
Yeah, but thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.